Rimka coming to you on location. And many of you know about this interview that's happening. We are on the Brain and Body Solutions business page, and I am with a highlighted rock star that I have. This interview was inspired for a number of reasons. So Rupa Kapoor, many of you know,
hi guys,
is an actual patient. I do actually take patients, even though anybody who's been inquiring keeps hearing we have a 3-month wait list and a 4-month wait list and a 6-month wait list, which is true. And I'm no longer even taking names, unfortunately, but I keep coming up with solutions that try to help as many of you as I can while I'm still managing such a large caseload and I can't add to it anymore. She's somebody that got in right
I slipped in right before you.
Right before I had to, really realize my expansion was too big, and I had to start contracting a little bit to keep my entire team happy and to keep the quality of care happy. We were just growing too quickly, and I didn't like what I was seeing in terms of myself and my staff. So I made some changes and had to slow it down. But Rupa actually sees me and has been seeing me for a long time. I'm actually going to show you. I had to go get her actual chart because I wanted to kind of track some things. All right, so we're coming up, it's less than a year.
Yeah.
And when you think about it in terms of, I wanted to kind of show you what can happen in less than a year if you have the right thinking, the right heart drive, you find the courage, and you have some resources to know where to go, what to look for, and how to get help, right? Because she had all of those things, but just, I think it hit at a moment. There was a lot of despair for a while. I don't know if you even knew where to go. And she was trying and trying and trying, and she was getting some help, kind of maybe not drowning. But we're going to talk about it, okay?
I'm happy to share all of that.
Yeah. Let me just say this first. So although I'm a doctor and I'm sitting here with one of my patients, this interview is completely educational and for information purposes only. It is not medical advice. I am not your doctor. This does not construe a doctor-patient relationship. I will not answer medical questions in the comments. That wouldn't be fair to me or to you. Just so we know that, all right? So there's the legal ease. Let's keep it, appropriate as to what's actually safe and healthy for everybody. Part of why she got the results is because she came to a qualified practitioner and wasn't trying to figure this out all on her own. A lot of these things you can, there's some foundational stuff, but it is very overwhelming and exhausting. And going into someone, having that time dedicated to you, having them look deeper into some underlying things and how things really fit together. What we say might sound simple, let's say, but I've had to think about 56 things to go into those 2 suggestions, right? It's very hard for you guys to figure out on your own. So I really want to encourage you to love yourself enough. Hopefully you'll see, like from this interview, to find somebody to work with and invest in yourself. All right. So let's rattle through because we had to look it up. So we had Hashimoto's.
So I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's in my early 30s. So about almost 53 going on. So about 20 years ago. 22 years ago.
Yeah. All right.
So
and been on medication.
Been on medication for the entire 22 years.
Okay. Yeah. Then we had, I don't know if you know the order of like the Cipro damage, the Lyme,
actually.
Okay.
I mean, I gave you that history, right? It was like 4 pages, you guys. I gave her, and it was typed. I mean, I kind of kept track of it. So I caught Hashimoto's. Now, before my Hashimoto's, I was already struggling with gut issues. And I would go to the hospital once or twice, and they would send me home with Tums. Okay. And say, here you go. And it never got better.
Gut issues so severe, going to a hospital.
Okay. And then got diagnosed with Hashimoto's at the age of 31, but it took me a year and a half to diagnose me. So I had like really little to no thyroid left because they kept thinking it was in my head, the pain, and it wasn't in my head. Okay. And then I went to India about 10 years ago to do a photography. I did a huge photo shoot out there with a wedding, and I had to take Cipro because I got the bug that a lot of people get in India, and I took Cipro for about 2 weeks. Didn't think twice about it, felt better from a gastro perspective, but then within 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and 6 months later, my sister actually said to me, your body's never been the same. And it never was the same. I took the Cipro, my thyroid went wackadoodle, it went crazy.
Let's tell them what Cipro is real quick.
Go ahead, you can.
Okay, so Cipro is just a very strong antibiotic of a certain class that has now been understood and investigated to cause a tremendous amount of damage to other body structures, especially these organelles in your cells called the mitochondria. So there might even be a class action lawsuit around Cipro. I'm not really sure. I get a lot of people that come into me for Cipro related damage, and I have to repair their mitochondria. So just so you guys, it's an antibiotic and it's still prescribed.
Well, I remember when Stephanie, you saw that on my list. You were the only one that said, wow, that's something big. Nobody up until the 5-10 years I've been going to doctors had said anything to me about that. It might be an issue. It might be an issue. So I got diagnosed with what the general thing is leaky gut, right? So I have leaky gut, and that's kind of general kind of a thing I came to you with. And then I think about 4 years ago, I started getting really sick. I was dancing 5 days a week. I was super active, y'all. I got myself to a point where I was still in pain. I wasn't feeling great, but I was feeling better. So that was my better at the time, right? And I thought I was doing great. And then all of a sudden, when I think it was in 2014 or 15, I just kept saying it didn't feel good. I didn't feel good. And then all of a sudden I couldn't walk. And all of a sudden I would eat eggs and I would literally my body couldn't move. I couldn't walk. I told you about all of the stuff that would happen. Turns out we had mold toxicity in the house that I lived in. And so I was breathing mold-ridden air, like it was coming through the AC vents constantly, and I did not know that. My little dog got sick right around the side, and Bella got sick at the same time. She went blind and kind of had her issues too. Well, at that point in time, my gut went over the top. Like I was in so much pain.
Let me pause at this time. So she has a strong history of vegetarianism.
Yes, I do.
This is culturally the way it is. Were you still a vegetarian at that time? Like,
I want to say I was. I kind of go flip-flop because it's funny. I would go vegetarian, and then my body, I listen to my body, y'all. I really do. And I wanted meat. So then I would go start eating meat because I didn't do non-meat for any other reason except that I just didn't want to do meat. Okay. Then I would start eating meat again, and I would feel a little bit better. Okay. And then I'd get bored and then go back to vegetarian because you know all the stuff that you hear. Sure. This is the better thing. Yeah. And so I think around that time, I was probably more vegetarian. Okay. Oh, I was, because I was doing, I don't want to name names, but I was doing all the smoothies and the green smoothies and all the green stuff and loving it, right? Supposedly thinking
were you raw?
I was trying to be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember something again, but see, I want you guys to see how much of the common health advice that she was following, right? Like cleanse and, did you ever go all the way to, I think you were vegan at times too.
Yeah, I've gone vegan
raw
too.
Vegan. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to give you the history of where we are with the flow and what's going on. Okay.
Yeah. I was doing eggs at the time though. I mean, I was just kind of putting eggs in the dirt. But anyway, so at that time when the mold started happening, I didn't know what it was.
Sure.
I started getting weird marks. A friend of mine told me, thank God I had just met her like a month before. And she said, I think this is what it is. So I went to the doctor, and they gave me a simple protocol to get rid of the mold. And then I could not walk. And I could barely get out of bed, and walking down the driveway and coming up felt like I was going to have a heart attack. Like I just felt that bad. Right. My thyroid again was wacky. It just went. I was hyper. I was like, I'm Hashimoto's anyway. I got diagnosed with Epstein-Barr. So then they did an EBV test, and I had Epstein-Barr, and it felt like, it made sense because I was sleeping all day. I just wanted to sleep all day, all the time, and my business stopped for about 6 months to 8 months. I couldn't.
Did they actually? We had actual chronic fatigue and fibro diagnosis. Did we have that?
They mentioned that. It wasn't like they did blood work on it, but I kind of always felt like every time I would see people, they would just throw out language because it was like this generic language.
There are no definitive tests, you guys, for chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia, and the complex is looking like this. And just so you know, things that are Lyme, MS, mold toxicity, fibro, chronic fatigue, they're very, very similar, misdiagnosed, confused diagnosed, and maybe are almost the same thing that are just coming out different, are hitting different systems harder. It hits the nerves harder for that one. It hits the muscles harder for this person. Okay. But it might be a general thing that's very similar. It's things we're trying to figure out in functional medicine and how to help people. Okay. So just so you know, it's foundationally a lot of MS and Lyme people. Somebody's diagnosed with MS. It turns out it's really been an undiagnosed, untreated Lyme.
Interesting.
That's made them look like they have something called MS. Okay. What's the difference?
That's what.
So giving you an idea,
right? Yep. So I got the mold, and then I got the Epstein-Barr, and then we went through a little bit of healing. I always put quotes around it because I always felt like garbage. I didn't feel great ever. And then I did change my diet a little bit. I got back to working. I was in the studio again. I couldn't work the same way because my body just couldn't tolerate it. I would get really tired. So a year later, the Epstein-Barr virus still was showing up in my blood work. So at the time, my naturopath said, let's do the Lyme disease test. I fought it, and we did the test. And it was a year before I met you, actually. I got diagnosed with Lyme disease. And
she did the good epigenetics test, you guys. She actually, has good labs. We have good, records of all of this. It's very legit. All these numbers are very real deal.
Yeah. And so I got diagnosed with Lyme. But in my, I don't know, like in my heart of hearts, I didn't really think I had, I don't know, like I just was like, I don't think so. Like I feel like it's all related to something else that was never diagnosed to begin with or whatever was happening. So I think by the time I came to you, I've been watching you for about a year at that point in time. I would watch Stephanie's videos.
Yeah, I love this story.
And I would be like, I like this. But I'll be honest with you, I was also in the process of a very toxic marriage. And I was not really sure which direction I need to go. I know I need to leave the marriage. And I had finally made the decision to leave and ironically got diagnosed with Lyme as soon as I made the decision to leave. And then 6 months later, I did leave. And so I left a huge stressful environment, which made me feel way better, but my body still wasn't the same. The inflammation was like so huge that even the little things would make me really tired. And by the time I came to you, I was watching your videos, and then I found out that at the time you were practicing basically right where I live. I had no more excuses. It was like, I'm going to
around the block.
You were like right around the block. I walked over to you. And so I saw her, and really for an adjustment. And then we got to talking about more stuff. And my intuition just said, I just feel like she is the one that's going to help me get to this healing place. And it turns out you had a lot of the same history that I did. Which was, and that's, I think that's what, when
I don't talk about it very much, but
I watched one of your videos where you talked about it, and I was like, I need to meet this woman because there's something about, like, I get chills when I say that because I think I would have been sitting in the same place now because nobody knew, and this is nothing against any of the doctors, nobody knew how to put me on the right protocol for food. I would cry. I've done everything. I've done vegan, I've done paleo, I've done keto, I've done all of it. And landed in more pain.
You're going to have this for life. This is your new normal. Well, then just pace yourself. What? What does that mean? Yeah, that means you're not dancing.
I couldn't.
You got to work part-time if you're lucky. So then, what else? Date. Who had the energy to date, exercise, and whatever? Like, sex would be painful, you guys. I mean, that would exhaust you too much. I mean, I just like that is no way to live.
I mean, and this is nothing against I love my naturopath, and she's actually been a
part of the team.
For sure. And she wasn't the one that told me this, but I was told when I got divorced, like to take it easy for 6 months because we didn't want to trigger the Epstein-Barr. We didn't want to trigger this, and I didn't want to get sick. But listen, I wanted to get back into my life again.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons I left is so I could be happy again and do that. And I did take 6 months off, and it was at the end of the 6 months that I actually came to you. Because I was like, I am ready for a life, and I want to be able to move. And it doesn't matter that I can't dance 4 days a week. I mean, I will get there. I'm already there a little bit right now. But I mean, it's just my body feels, and everyone, I'll tell you guys, like, so everyone that sees me, that has known me for a long time, you guys probably saw the before and after, says, oh my God, you've lost all this weight. I've lost about 43 pounds, give or take, right?
And
I don't even weigh myself that often anymore.
I don't care.
Myself, it doesn't matter. All I know is that how I feel and energetically how my body feels and how my mind feels is night and day. The energy I have in the morning, I can get you out of bed without pain. I mean, unless, you
guys have you know what I mean? Like, I just got chills and I swear I could cry because if you don't know what it's like to lay in the bed with 100 pounds of concrete on you and the amount of effort it takes to just push that off to even go pee, you have no idea. So there are so many of you walking around with a number of things. It's like this invisible illness that everybody thinks you look fine, but you just feel like 100 pounds of concrete.
I would literally sometimes roll myself out of bed, push myself up, and my muscles.
So many, right? Yeah. This is the majority of the kind of patients that see me. Usually women. There's a whole reason why that happens this way. So good. All right. So let's say a few things. Where do we even start with that? God, Rupa, it is really amazing. So let me just say. So like the weight, 40 some pounds. A lot of people, whatever. What you lost was 40 plus some pounds of waiting of weight, of W-A-I-T. She was waiting to get back into her life. She had weight because she's waiting. You guys, they go together. Those two words that are spelled, they are connected. And I had, she stopped waiting. I helped get her where she needed to go. And then the weight came off. The weight, the literal, the W-A-I-T came off. This is Rupa's kind of coming out world tour party. She literally just had, what did you call it?
I had a big studio party here a couple of weeks ago, and it was called Rupa's Freedom Tour.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It's for me to find my freedom in my body, freedom in my brain, and freedom to do what I want to do with my life, because I feel like when you say W-A-I-T, I stopped waiting, and I decided that I had a choice on whether I wanted to stay where I was or figure out how I need to get healthy again.
Yeah.
And
that takes, you guys, it not only takes mental strength and emotional heart courage strength. She kind of got to a point where the pain was so much. She's like, I have no choice but to find some courage, some kind of way. But when your physical body is not strong, it is much harder to find courage. That's a fact.
I love that you used that word. So I've had so many women, and I've really denied it in the past couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
I've had so many women private message me and say, the courage that you have found to do what you've done, and leave the marriage was huge, because I was in 20 years of a really pretty toxic marriage, and leaving that, but then going and like taking care of my body and taking care of like the not playing the waiting game anymore. Mm-hmm. Women are like, you're so courageous. And I'm like, am I? You know me, like I've questioned it. Like I question my own power in this, and they're like, you're so courageous. So I love that courage, because it does take courage for us to step outside of our body. And when I actually photograph, I don't want to like talk, but one thing I do talk about with
part of what you guys see, that I'm here, right? If you've been seeing a couple of the pictures, she photographed me.
Her photographer.
So I just hired her to do my very first professional photo shoot. I've had good photos taken of me, but I have never taken out my credit card and given money to a photographer to take my picture, ever. And it was a way for me to say, you know what, you deserve this as a part of your career development, your professional development. As I sat in a conference going, I'm about to do this because I need to help more people and make a bigger impact. The only way I'm going to help more people is if I can make a bigger impact and reach more people. So I'm going to stop hiding. I'm going to stop my hiding.
And that's what I talk about.
And I knew I'm like, I'm hiring Rupa.
Yeah, because I hid for a long time, y'all. Like, that's what I did. I hid under the big clothes. I hid under, I literally wore a hoodie, went at my studio, and didn't want to be seen. And it was all about showing up and being seen and finding the courage to see yourself differently. And so now, in studio, the way I work with my women, too, is I always talk about, let's get out of your body to get into your body. And I don't even know if I sometimes know what that means, but when I'm working with my women, I see it. Like, we dance it out. Like, we play music with
I think you're probably getting out of their mental body.
Yeah.
Not really out of their body.
No,
it's their mental body. Their insecurities. What about this? And I don't know. Am I on my good side? Am I on my bad side? And let's say this. When she came to see me, she didn't think she could afford me. She was really debating. She wasn't working. She's like, I really had tight money situations on her own. And so that's part of why she came and did the hands-on chiropractic energy. I do some kind of energy kind of healing stuff. I'm a little bit more than just adjusting.
You are.
So it's a different thing I do. So you kind of get a lot if you get on my table. And I couldn't help but, I can feel what's going on in a person's tone of touching them. I know chemicals and I can feel it. So, we knew the metabolic piece. So I was leaking things to her. And then eventually for her, I think it came down to I'm going to really, really invest in myself.
I said, I'm in.
I
told her, I said, I'm in. That was within a week. I think the same week I saw you.
It was a month. It was a month later we did a metabolic appointment.
That's right. That's okay. What I get you. Yeah.
So then we started working on it. And ultimately, you guys, why I'm doing this is kind of also to showcase a few things. Again, we have labs and we changed a lot of things. There was lots of details and finessing and hand-holding. But in general, the foundational principles of what I still did with Rupa, I do with a lot of people. I focus on rest, I focus on restore, and I focus on renewing who you are. We had, she was resting, not really. She was exhausted and couldn't move. We had to make it be a focused way of how do we use rest and maximize healing. So it's all kinds of techniques and trips, and just coming in to see me was a part of that. Me giving her other referrals was a part of that. She came in with, I don't know, like a garbage bag of supplements.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know how much stuff she was taking.
And it was like container on top of
Yeah,
containers.
and I physically had to go through 50 things, 60 things. I don't know how much stuff you were taking.
I don't even know. I should have taken
it. Was extraordinary,
yeah.
Which is very common in the functional medicine field, you guys. Lots of supplements, lots of things for all over the things. So and it's a process. I do a slow titration. I think everything, it's a gentle movement into where I need you to go.
Right.
It's not a rip the Band-Aid off type of
process.
My body no. And if any of you are trying that, please be careful. All right. A 40 or 50 or 60-year-old woman's body dealing with these things is nothing like a 35-year-old guy's body who's hitting the gym and doing CrossFit. So you be careful what you're listening to, because I really think there's not a lot of good information in the market for this person.
And we're taught as women, I mean, I'll be honest with you, as women, we're taught we're strong, and we are strong, right? Yeah. So in my mind, I used to like lift weights, I was running, I was dancing, I was doing all of this stuff. And I remember saying to you, I want to go back and dance. I want to do this. When can I start doing this? And I loved what you said, we're going to just take baby steps. And that became my mantra, like just the baby steps, because I didn't have to push myself to be strong.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got her stronger without doing all that.
Right.
So, and again, please know I'm not anti you getting, you said, I was a moment where I said, you're ready to build the muscle.
Yeah.
We're ready to do some dancing. We're ready. But it took a lot longer than what she wanted in her mind. I had to keep pushing. Thank you. Getting a timer. So rest was a big deal. Very focused, lots of coaching on that. Me giving her permission. A lot of it is you need permission. And then being focused and concentrated on how we do it. Okay. It's a process. So I teach that. The biggest thing, a big thing. So resting too, I started taking away supplements. I started giving her system a rest, because you can over supplement your liver, your kidneys, your colon. It can be way too much, you guys. You should not be taking that many things. I use supplements functionally. I think they have a very important place. Plants and herbs, plants are medicine, but you shouldn't just walk into a medicine cabinet and start taking everything in front of you and say, oh, let's hope for the best. Not a good idea. If you're going to use a medicine like a drug, you take one antibiotic. You don't take 7. Okay. You need some rhyme or reason to what you're doing. So we started taking that stuff away. Now, the second part, the restore. Well, I'm going to go with the third. The third part is I did add one supplement that I love, and many of you guys know about it, and it's this thing called the gel. It is a hormone balancer, stress, adrenal, thyroid support. So I started adding that. I added some other supplements. Again, I had labs. I had a lot of information. I am micromanaging a lot of systems all at once, but my goal was to make her life easier, save her money, not buy so much stuff, not take this 10 things in the morning, 4 hours later. I mean, it was like every couple hours of, it was
I had
crazy.
a timer, you guys, that would go off like every 2 hours. That would be like, and I mean, I would lay out
that is not restful.
Morning,
yes.
Right. And then 2 hours later, there was another. Then 2 hours later, there was another.
The message to the psyche is, I'm sick and broken. I'm sick and broken. I'm sick and broken. I wanted to start getting rid of that message as quickly as I can, but safely. So we didn't just do it radically. We were changing all of that. My idea was to reduce, and get her to a sweet spot of where we are. And again, what she's taking, still taking a lot. Okay. And we might be here for a long time. I don't know where the ultimate will be for you. This is years of damage. This is a lot of stuff. We'll figure it out.
Right.
And
I'm also doing a lot of mind work too. You know that. I mean, it's so funny because I would come to see you, and I have another personal coach that I work with mindset on, and she would say stuff to me, and then I would go to Stephanie, and Stephanie would say the same exact thing. I'm like, I can't cuss in that.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
the universe will bring it.
Believe
so all she is an antenna to bring in universal information, and she's walking around, and we're all saying and so she's like, well, God, I guess I got to hear it. Yes, you do. Yeah. And this coach is over in England, and she's don't talk.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You need to meet her at some point.
That's how much the universe is going to bring you what you need. So as your antenna gets sharper, your radius of what you'll hear is bigger, and you'll hear. You guys see what I'm saying? I have an antenna that brings in information. People say, well, you're psychic, you're intuitive, empathic, whatever. I have grown my antenna in such a way purposefully with coaches and trainers and people I
So
pay.
have I, actually,
right?
since I've
Yeah.
done this
And you're
work.
like, oh, so you can hear things differently. I hear more information maybe than somebody else that hasn't trained themselves.
Mhm.
Okay. That's all. All right. So we did that. That's the third thing. It's the gel. I added a hormone thing, started taking things away, tried to.
And just so you guys know, the gel for me at the beginning felt a little tricky. I was like, oh God, I gotta do it now. But now I just said to you, I mean, I've said to you a couple of times, it's just become like in my morning, I go before I eat breakfast or in the, before I get, like after I get out of the shower, I just put it on. And it's just become so, like, I always forget that I do it because it's become so automatic.
So
you know?
easy,
It's
right?
so easy.
It's so easy. It's just an area of hormones that no one was addressing. It's some growth hormone and some other things. And so it really, a lot of botanicals, and it just helped me eliminate, she's taking a bunch of ashwagandha, stop. So it was really lovely.
Well, you should see my cabinet. My cabinet that I have, the stuff I don't take, I did save a lot of it because I'm like, just in case I need to go back to it, it's full and I don't need any of it anymore, which is really cool.
Saves a lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of everything. All right. Now, the biggest one that might be controversial or was bizarre, I think is the strongest elimination diet. So she had a lot of gut issues, you guys. We needed to do a massive elimination diet. Many of you with SIBO or something have heard of FODMAPs, or you've heard of 4-day rotation diets for food allergies. If you get IG.
Done all of it.
She's, okay, great.
Done it all.
And she did it all. We weren't very successful. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you the easiest one on earth, the most powerful one on earth, the most anti-inflammatory, the most anti-aging, the most nutrient-dense thing ever. What was it?
So she said, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Yeah," because I was committed to doing it. Like I've been committed.
I love that you remember what I say because I don't.
And you said, "Well, you played it slow. You did a slow game." She did this kind of every appointment I went to. She's like, "This is good. This would work." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm open to it. I'm open to it." And I got to tell you guys, I was actually vegetarian. I had gone vegan last year, and so at the time I was seeing Stephanie, I was vegan. Yeah. I was, again, though, feeling that craving for meat. So she said, "What would you think about doing carnivore?" And I'm like, what? And so she's like, "Carnivore." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" She's like, "Carnivore." And I'm like, she says, "Meat and water." And I'm like, "But I like to have a drink every so often." And she's like, "You could do that every so often." And it's like, it wasn't like you were taking my life away. And I never felt it. Right. But intuitively in my gut, like real gut and intuitive gut, I just knew it was the right thing to do. Like something was calling me. And so I will tell you, I left your office, and I know you probably have the date that you told me this, September something, went home, and because I am committed and I am done waiting and I want to do my life. And I literally cleaned out my fridge, pulled all the grocery bags, put all of my stuff in there. I talked to my dog sitter at the time and I said, "Hey, I know you love a lot of this stuff. Do you want it?" And she said, "Sure." I cleaned out the entire freezer. I went to Whole Foods. I went to the local butcher. I went and literally that night changed everything. And I haven't looked back.
She did not wait. Do you guys see that? I want you to be clear. Decisive action gets you results. Well, what would have happened if you would have hemmed and hawed over, "Oh, this is so much money though, and I hate to give it away."
Well,
but I don't know what to do.
It's not that much money though. That's the thing, right? So I'm spending probably
the stuff you gave away.
Oh, whatever. That was a gift. That was a gift to me and a gift to somebody else that needed it. So and that's the way I looked at it. So it's like, it's probably like $300 worth of groceries, but that was a gift that I gave myself because when I walked away from that food and I decided to make that change, and I woke up the next morning and, I remember even talking to you like, "Can I do bacon?" Because I love bacon. And I don't do other pork. And you're like, "No, you can't." So you walk me through how much I could do.
She had some a lot of things, you guys. There's a lot of very specifics that we needed to do. Right. She's, as you can see from the history, much more sensitive than a lot of you out there would be.
Right.
Say. But if you're dealing with these things,
this was the elimination diet of elimination diets because you were right. Like I was still sneaking in all kinds of things on an elimination diet that every other doctor told me to do. Yeah. And this way, once I got into 2 months of it, I was feeling a detox, and I was starting to feel like, well, I saw you a month later and you looked at me, you're like, "Oh my God, you're not the same person." Right. Like some things started shifting. Yes, it was radical.
Because it's nourishment. You know why? Because she was starving. So all I did was nourish you. You've been nourishing yourself, trying to nourish your own soul, trying to nourish your mindset. But the body still needed real physical nourishment. We focused on a lot of purposeful rest for her. I really cut out a lot of, I did not add exercise. You guys understand this? None. I mean, to the point, I made you stop.
Yeah, that was actually hard for me because I'm
hard for everybody. So, yeah.
I'm not like, I didn't want to go lift, but I was actually
people in my group don't want to listen to me on this. The women, so please tell them they still won't give it up.
No, I mean, I just stopped, and because when you're going through a detox, like you're going through, your body just needs the quiet time. It needs the peace. So honestly, if you're going to do what I would consider exercise, do like mind exercises. That's what I would suggest. Like I work with my coach. I'm working on like the trust work and the surrender work. And I got to give Mary a shout out. Like she's changed my life along with Dr. Rimka, because I went ahead and did a lot of the mind body work, meaning
I taught her to picture her mind, her body the way it needed to be. I'm like, well, just work out in your mind.
Right.
Well, we're just going to visualize it.
The energy work that I do.
Same thing.
Yeah. I did a lot of meditation too, actually, you guys. Meditation. I was doing Joe Dispenza, which is a little trippy stuff.
Everybody loves
it. Was
Joe.
awesome. Yeah. And so
shout out to chiropractor. Woo!
Yeah.
Joe's badass. We'll say it.
And so life changed.
Yeah. Very common. I bring a lot of Joe Dispenza to my. She already knew about it, but that's a huge one. It's a part of the rest. So we restored her with a radical elimination diet. It might sound radical. I've been eating this way, 10 months or something like that. Carnivore. It's been extraordinary. It's been some of the most powerful healing I've ever experienced.
The easiest way to eat.
That's what I'm saying. It's the easiest
way to eat, because I was gluten-free. I was called celiac. I was given all these labels. I can now go.
Did you ever do Whole30?
I did.
Total pain in the ass, isn't it?
Well, my
it's
body,
horrible.
I actually got sick doing it because my body couldn't tolerate all of all the stuff that was in it and stuff. Keto made me sick, actually, because of the heavy fats in it. I would be in so much pain within.
Plus, you got to calculate and think and track. There's none of that with this, you guys.
Right.
And then we added the gel, which is an amazing, powerful supplement. I think everybody pretty much should be using it. There's over 20, but I'll drop down. So here's the thing. Doing this interview to let you, I want you to meet Rupa, because I want you to see you can be that sick and that frustrated and that down and out, and you can recover. You can feel better. You can go live a life. This woman is traveling all over, doing all kinds of things. She's blowing up. It's kind of ridiculous. I'll let her kind of share that story. So what we want to do is tell them what you do. So I'm going to have her tell her, like, I just hired her. I got my stuff. You're going to see all the pictures you're going to see. You see up there, that's her. Tell them how to get in touch with you, because I want all these women to hire her as well.
So what I do, guys, is after all of the stuff I've been through with my body and my health and life, I've been a photographer for a long time. I have probably in the past couple of years really worked with just women. And in the past 2 years, as I've transitioned my life into something, like I said, stop playing the waiting game, I always talk about showing up and shining. And I want my women to show up and shine. And I photograph men, but, it's not really. I'll do a headshot.
It's her choice.
It's my choice. Women are my clients, and women come to me because they're ready to show up. They want to be seen. They're hiding either behind their weight, their health, whatever it is. And with the way I do on camera, it's about like just really having fun. And I can talk about like kind of like coming out of your body to get into your body and to like really feel who you are. And then I think the biggest win for me is like when somebody sees a photograph of themselves and they just feel like she sees herself and says, oh my God, I'm beautiful. And that is like my magic moment. I get chills when I say that, because I honor that for you guys. I hold a sacred space for you guys. So my studio is here in Atlanta. I am traveling to Asheville quite often, so I'm in Asheville every so often. I'm actually going to Boston in 2 weeks, and we're doing some sessions up there. And let me tell you, I know I hate keep saying getting chills, but before I saw you, I didn't even travel.
And she couldn't go anywhere.
I was afraid to travel because I had all these freaking supplements, and I didn't know where I could eat. Dinner was like so hard to do when I travel.
Again, that's part of rest, you guys. Stress. Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to go? What do I do with stuff? I'm trying to take away all the mental confusion and overwhelm.
Right, it is. And it's like now I've got this amazing dog nanny that takes
freedom.
Care of my dogs. It is freedom.
It is freedom. I think supporting local business is incredibly important. These are independent people. We are, working really hard. I think all your local businesses, if your friend's selling something, buy it. Your friend's making sweaters and knitting them home, buy the sweater. Use your friends for your services. Use your clients for your services. Share the love. Build businesses. Build each other up. I think it's important. I love that I actually had a real Indian. You know, I'm only part Indian, you guys. I had a real one. You know, take my picture. I think there's something very special about that for me. I really was like, oh yeah, I need that energy. I love that it was that energy. And she's right. I remember the moment when I discovered I was attractive. You guys, I lived in so much shame over my physical appearance. I could tell a lot of stories about how ugly I perceived myself to be as a child and how I didn't even deserve to live. And the kind of suicidal thinking I used to go through because I was an abomination physically to even have to look at. It was a lot of unpacking in terms of my racial background and where I lived and the confusion that comes with I'm not white enough, I'm not black enough, I'm definitely not Indian enough. Where the hell do I fit in, right? So there's a lot with that. And I remember the photo shoot where and even the fact that I was a model still didn't register that I didn't get it. I'm like, I don't get why people want to I don't get it. But anyway, it was a photo shoot where I was a model, post Bennett, as a mother. And it was, Joe, I don't remember, probably know Joe. It's in the studio and they go, come here and look at it. And I come and I look and now you can see it on the Mac, back in the day when I was modeling, really, you had to wait. And I remember that moment that she's probably seen so many women go through. I didn't have that. I already owned it by the time she took my pictures. But I looked at the picture like this and I went,
well, I just did that.
I go, is that me?
Yeah.
And they go, yeah. Girl, I went, that's what I look like?
Yeah.
And they said, because it wasn't Photoshop, it was right there. And I was like, damn, I am pretty. And they're like, you're such an idiot. They're like, you're so hot. I went, I didn't know that's what I looked like.
Well, I think
I really was too, like right? That's what I look like.
And I actually have my own photo shoot done. I pay photographers to do my
she
own
goes
shoots,
and does
so
it.
I don't do trades or anything.
It's a totally different feeling. Photo shoots for yourself are really a beautiful process. I'm lucky because people would pay me to do them or give me free things to do photo shoots. I'm like, okay.
But I had that same epiphany when I looked at myself, and my assistant at the time took a video of me laughing during the photo shoot. And I actually cried when I watched it, you guys, because I hadn't seen myself laugh or smile or feel that in, God, I don't know how long. Yeah. And when I saw that picture, and I was holding a whiskey glass,
I love that one. I love that photo. I know.
With a fun dress.
Yep.
And I was just looking at myself saying, wow, this is what it feels like to celebrate and feel happy for a change for a long time. And it had so much to do with other stuff too, but me feeling my body again and waking up not in pain, going the whole day without pain. I mean, it's like, it's amazing. So, you've seen.
And she worked for that, you guys. She went through some pain and discomfort to get there. Let's be clear. She didn't quit. I'm like, it's going to be okay. Well, I'm going to hold your hand through all this. But like, don't think you get to this without going through some fire and hell.
Well, what do we say?
But it wasn't horrible. She was already in hell. Right,
but
I'm gonna push you. You're gonna have, but I'll make it be comfortable. But you're gonna have to go through some discomfort to get to the growth, spot. Growing pain.
I just told a client the other day. I said I not only got rid of the disease, we're getting rid of the disease, but I got rid of the dis-ease.
Yes,
and that for me, I think, has been a turning point. Is getting rid of the dis-ease.
Yeah.
And getting almost comfortable with my own uncomfortableness in my business and in my life. Right?
Yeah, she's just blown up. She's expanded.
Right. Yeah.
Courage is not ever comfortable. Let me be really clear. When anybody says, and then we're going to wrap up. When anybody says to me that I'm fearless, it's a little insulting. I am not fearless. You might think I'm courageous. Let's use the right word, because I'm scared as shit a lot.
Me too.
But I do it anyway. That's the difference. I have no courage for that one today. Or you're like, let's just do it. People, you know what I mean? Like,
and
it's just, that's courage.
And I think the biggest thing is, you know what, guys, I did a talk in Asheville last week. My tagline is vulnerability is being strong. Learn to be vulnerable, be open and honest about how you feel and what you want to do with your life. But most importantly, give yourself grace. Yes. You told me that. Mary would tell me that. I had friends that told me that. Don't beat yourself up. Tomorrow's a new day, and you can start again.
It's not a competition.
It is about courage, and also in that courage, you can give yourself grace as well.
Absolutely.
You don't have to come in just like.
I never pushed you or bullied you.
You didn't.
You didn't. This is not hard. This is not no pain, no gain crap. Okay. Goodbye, y'all. It was a nice long time, but hey, I think it's worth it, right?
Yeah, it was
all
awesome.
right, Rupa Kapoor. You're
Bye.
welcome. Thank you for
Stephanie.
sharing.